Hey, good Tuesday afternoon, everybody. BAM weather meteorologist here with another BAM live update. First and foremost, wanted to thank our sponsor, Mains Harley Davidson of Edinburgh, Indiana. Be sure to go down there, say hi to Rick or Clint. Be sure to tell them that BAM sent you there, sponsoring our live stream for this week, and we want to be sure to thank them for doing that. But hey, guys, wanted to start off with the current radar right now outside this afternoon. You can see for the most part we are clear throughout the Ohio Valley. We still have some very light rain showers working through parts of southeastern and eastern Kentucky, southeastern Ohio there. You can see out to the west some light rain in portions of eastern Nebraska, but for the most part we've worked through that system. That cold front has pushed through the area. Still have some of those lingering clouds across a good portion of the Midwestern United States, but we have cooled things down quite a bit as well. But wanted to get into our forecast over the next couple of days because the next system that we want to track isn't going to start to work into our area until Thursday. So Matt, if we go here to our PowerPoint slide, going to talk about the additional storm system that we want to track. Another front that's going to work through, but I think that we see another nice warm up ahead of that storm system here. So yep, there we go. Get our PowerPoint slide. Yep, go full screen on that. Here we go. So simulated radar here. This is 8 a.m. Thursday through 8 a.m. on your Friday. I do think that we start to develop a pretty decent storm system out here to the west across portions of Missouri, Kentucky, southern Indiana. I think it's mainly a Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening threat for portions of southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and into Kentucky. You can see where some of that heaviest rain sets up. It's going to be mostly across portions of northern Kentucky into central parts of Kentucky. There could be some rain across southern Indiana, but there are still some discrepancies in the data about how far north the system can actually come. The trend has been further and further south with this storm system. Now, I do want to note some of these yellows and darker oranges in here. I do think that there can be some pretty decent storm coverage as we work into your Thursday evening and into your Thursday night. Now, you can see those deeper reds and oranges indicate a pretty good setup for some thunder and lightning to develop as we work into your Thursday evening. So perhaps rush hour Thursday, if you're across southwestern parts of the state into southern Illinois, western Kentucky there, I do think that we could have some thunderstorm activity. And I actually would not be shocked if there was even some severe weather reports out of this as we work into central portions of Kentucky. I think that it's mainly south of Indiana, but it's kind of a high wind shear, low instability setup, and I can't rule out maybe some strong wind gusts. Can't rule out at this time maybe a couple of tornadoes. It's a small threat right now, but based on what I'm seeing, it's certainly not a zero threat. And as we get closer and start to work in some of that higher resolution data, we need to watch, especially southern Illinois, and I would say especially into central Kentucky for that threat. We'll keep an eye on our southern Indiana counties here, but I think the better threat is just down to the south as things stand now. Of course, we're more than 48 hours out from this, so we'll continue to keep an eye on it and adjust things. But another sign that yes, spring is here and we are going to continue to see an uptick of those severe weather threats as we work throughout this month. As far as total precipitation, this model here only has about 1/10 of an inch of precipitation in Indy. I think that's probably pretty valid at this point. The big uncertainty is from Bloomington down to New Albany, Indiana. This model here putting down 1/2 inch to up to 1 inch of rain in spots. My gut tells me that this may shift even a little bit further south. I think the heaviest rains will be across portions of central Kentucky, maybe even down towards the Bowling Green, Lexington area, and those areas will also need to be kept an eye on for the risk of maybe some of those stronger thunderstorms. Now, as far as the next 7 days here, here's a look at our 7-day forecast. I wanted to get into this before I go more into our severe weather threats for the rest of this month and a look into hurricane season. I wanted to talk about that too because we've got some really cool new interesting research for that I wanted to share. But I do think that we still see a good amount of cloud cover as we work into tomorrow. There will be some intermittent sunshine, but temperatures still in the mid 50s as we work into your Thursday there, back up into the low to mid 60s for the Indianapolis area. And I do think that we see that nice cold front come through, a little bit chillier on your Friday. Saturday, there is a storm system. Right now, still thinking that it's probably going to be a cold rain, but we are going to keep a very close eye on it here. And then as you can see, the rest of the 7-day forecast warming back up ahead of another storm system into early next week. So all in all here, our average temperatures are in the mid to upper 40s by this point. So for the most part, our next 7 days are going to be above normal. But hey guys, I wanted to move into the longer range forecast here. So just wanted to give you a look at our week 2 forecast because I wanted to show you the big gradient in temperatures that is setting up across the United States as we work into the middle to latter part of the month. You can see all the warmth building up on the eastern coast. We've got a lot of cold air that's going to be diving down into the western and into the central United States. And when you get this clashing of air masses, it can lead to some enhanced precipitation risk, and yes, perhaps an increased risk of some severe weather. If we take a look here, this is a storm that I'm watching very closely. You can see that big ridge of high pressure in the North Pacific. It's sending down some Arctic air, and when you get that clashing of air masses here, when you get those big low pressure systems that develop across the southwestern U.S., it can be favorable for some severe weather threats, especially across the Mississippi Valley, maybe as far north as the Ohio Valley. So want to keep a very close eye on this. This is going to be the pattern for the last half of the month. I think that it's probably wet across the southern U.S. into the Ohio Valley and Mississippi Valley. The areas that we're going to need to watch for severe weather threats, again, are especially going to be Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, into Tennessee and Mississippi. I think that we still need to keep an eye on things from Indy and points south as well for the risk of some uptick in severe weather. Obviously, certainly not set in stone. I am not guaranteeing a severe weather outbreak or anything like that. I'm just saying that the pattern is a little bit more favorable as we work into the second half of this month for maybe more severe weather threats in the forecast. And I think that we are already starting to see that here with that Thursday system. Again, that's a very weak system. Certainly not going to be a huge outbreak or anything like that, but just again tells us that we're going to start to get into that time frame where we need to keep a very close eye on our severe weather threats, and would be a great time to sign up for our weather portal, wxporthole.com. We can send you all of those tornado warning alerts, all tornado watches, severe thunderstorm warnings, of course our lightning alerts. So if you're interested in receiving those alerts to your phone, they are the fastest in the market. A couple of days ago we had lightning strike, actually I think it was last week, at my apartment. 2 seconds later the lightning strike alert popped onto my phone. It's extremely fast. It's kind of amazing how fast it works. And if you're in an industry that could use this kind of alert setup, be sure to go to wxporthole.com and sign up, or if you have questions, info@bamwx.com. But hey guys, I wanted to go a little bit further into the long range today. I want to talk about a little bit of a fun facts for this upcoming season. Of course, hurricane season is still fairly far away. I mean, we're talking about July, August, September is when that normally begins to ramp up, but we are doing some preliminary research right now on some of our favored analog years. And when we look at those, these top 4 years here, this is the top 5 most active hurricane seasons on record since 1950. What I want to note here, note how 2005, 1995, 2017, and 1950 were all associated with a La Nina or a developing La Nina. Typically what we get here when we start to cool those ocean waters along the equator and start to go into a La Nina, it favors weaker winds across the Atlantic, and it can help increase hurricane activity during peak hurricane season. These 4 years here, these are the top 4 most active hurricane seasons on record. 2005, obviously that was Katrina. 1995, 2004, 2017 was Irma and Harvey, Maria. These are our top, or some of our top 4 analogs right now. These are years that we are keeping a close eye on that may be similar in progression as we work into this summer. So certainly the signs as far as our analog years go, they're pointing to a more active hurricane season. If we look at our latest computer model data, note what it's doing right around here, around the equator. We're talking about cooler than normal ocean waters beginning to show up on our computer model data that indicates the risk of a cooler, neutral, or even La Nina event developing as we work later into this year. And again, that does favor that above normal hurricane activity. When we look out here in the Atlantic, you can see favoring above normal ocean waters, especially in the Gulf of Mexico. That again is another big ingredient that could increase hurricane activity later this spring. If we take a look at our current sea surface temperatures, you can see out in western portions of the equatorial Pacific, we're still dealing with El Nino conditions, but we're starting to see some of those cooler waters trying to emerge here just off the coast of South America. And you can see, of course, those warmer ocean waters over the Atlantic. So again, I do think that as things stand now, I think that we are looking at the risk of a more active hurricane season, guys. So that's all I have for today's forecast. If you have any questions on that, be sure to reach out on Facebook. I'm going to try to get some comments here. If you're interested in our weather porthole, there is our information on pricing. Again, info@bamwx.com if you are interested, or if you have any other additional questions with this, and I am happy to go through here and answer as many questions as I can. Lori asks, according to Farmer's Almanac, we are supposed to get a snowstorm third week of March. Is that true, Greenwood area? The Farmer's Almanac is historically very inaccurate, especially with their long-range outlooks like that. Certainly would not take that verbatim. I'm still favoring a slightly above normal pattern as we work into the third and fourth week of March. Rebecca says, love watching your weather forecast. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like and share this, and be sure to thank our sponsor, Mann's Harley-Davidson in Edinburgh, Indiana. They're the ones that are making this happen this week. If you are interested in a Harley-Davidson or perhaps some motorcycle parts, be sure to go down there in Edinburgh and ask for Rich or Clint, and they will get you hooked up. All right. Ann says, this reminds me that I need to get my ham rig back in my new vehicle. Spring is coming. Yeah, be sure to get those weather radios turned on, or sign up for our weather alerts, our tornado warning alerts, our severe thunderstorm warning alerts that we can send directly to your phone. WXPorthole.com, as low as $20 a month for that, and we can send you those customizable location-specific National Weather Service alerts. Bobby says, Martinsville area here. Thank you for tuning in. Christy asked, what about the Noblesville area? I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. If you're referring to the rain threats on Thursday, I think that it's mostly down to your south. All right, let's see if we have any other questions here. What is April looking like to open a pool? I don't know. I mean, the April seems a little bit early at this point, especially because I still think you can get some of those cooler shots behind the storm systems. I think April is probably a little bit early, but May right now is looking a little bit warm, maybe into May. I think that those chances are probably going to get a little bit better to open the pools. All right, Jacob says, woohoo, bring on storm season. Yes, we are excited. Hopefully we can have some good storms to track this year. Travis says it's 38 in Battleground. Thank you for the report, Travis. Certainly has gotten a lot cooler behind that front throughout the day today. All right, guys. If I missed any of your questions earlier, feel free to send them back on here. I think that Facebook only saves them for so long, so while I'm talking, while I'm blabbing on, sometimes they tend to disappear. So I would always encourage you to be sure to save your questions for the later part of the video so I can be sure to see them. All right. All right, that is all the questions I am seeing right now. I will be sure to touch more on the Saturday system right now, looking like mostly rain. But we'll be sure to keep an eye on that as we get closer. Still a long ways out for anything beyond today. It's still Tuesday. Got to remember that. All right. That is all I have for today, guys. If you're interested in our weather portal, WXPorthole.com, you can sign up for as low as $20 a month to get those NWS alerts straight to your phone. And be sure to get signed up there if you have any questions, info@bamwx.com. And of course, thank you to our sponsor, Mann's Harley-Davidson down there in Edinburgh, for sponsoring us this week. That's all I have for today, guys. Hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday.